Yeah. Am I live? Hey, welcome, speaking of live, to Festool Live. That was my 6-foot stick, and we are separating ourselves in this room. It's Friday, Festool Friday, and thank you for attending Festool Live. It's noon. Hey, I want to introduce everybody in the room because we're here. I'm going to start with our superstar right over here. This is Minnie Gleb on the whiteboard. She will be taking your questions, writing them down. Also online is Brent Shively. He'll be answering all your questions, or a lot of them, as you guys are typing them in. Okay, and over here, we have Big D. He's on the board. And on the camera, we have Chris Seibert. You saw him last week in the best of. Okay, so I want to thank you for your patience. I think we're done with vacations this year. Okay. And we had a vacation, then we were back. We had a vacation. We did the best ofs, but now we got a super duper fall planned for you. I hope everybody is staying safe out there, and we hope everybody's washing their hands. Okay. Boy, Chris always writes this on the board, so I have to say it. We are on YouTube today, of course, okay, but it will be out on Instagram right away, and you can also watch this Festool Live on Facebook. But don't forget to subscribe, okay, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a Festool Live. Also, hopefully he's out there. He's a good friend of mine. His name is Jason Bent, and I will be calling him out today because he's done a few posts and a few videos on something I'm going to show you how to produce. So he's at Bent's Woodworking on Instagram. He's such a cool dude, it's ridiculous. Okay, so don't forget to do your notifications. Okay, today's subject is simply the VAC SYS. And when I say simply the VAC SYS, every time we've had a training, I always use the VAC SYS. It's our vacuum clamping pod system. And everybody will go, say I'm routing or using the Contoro or sanding or any of the Festool tools. People go, oh my God, what is that? And I go over the vacuum clamping system, the VAC SYS. Also, you've been asking about it because we've done several Festool Lives, and you asked for this episode. So we're really happy, and I can't believe it's episode number 20. So bear with me on this one because I'm going to cover a lot of ground, because what people don't realize is how versatile this tool is. Okay, I got to give you a little history of it, and it's pretty simple. And as I'm also going to show you what you guys have been asking about, how to make a custom bracket. Okay, but also when people come here, I also show them how to make custom templates. All right, so bear with me, and as I go through this, hopefully I don't get too unorganized I wrote an outline for this so I can show you. Okay, so let's talk about saving time first, okay? In woodworking, my whole life, and probably yours, being a woodworker, okay, you've used clamps, okay? These just happen to be the Festool clamps, okay? So say I have this cutting board, okay, that I made out of 6/4. All right, and I need to route around over here and around over here. I need to make a bull nose. So think how many times, or think of how much time you take clamping and unclamping, because you can't route this whole thing. You got to route right here, and then you got, watch, I'll do it. So I'm going to clamp it here, and in woodworking, you just don't use one clamp. You always use 2 clamps, so you don't have a pivot point, right? So I'm going to start here and route here and route here. Then I have to clamp it, watch, and unclamp it to do the, oh, sorry, I'm spinning it too much. I'm sorry, I'll slow down, to do the other side. So I'm clamping and unclamping like this. All right? That's time consumption, everybody, and you know it. All right? And we're always, in woodworking, relegated to clamping horizontal or vertical. Okay, so I just clamped and unclamped 4 times. Now I got to do the other side. So I think you catch my gist. Routing is the simple part. Clamping and unclamping is the difficult part. So say I have a vacuum clamp. I'm going to turn this on. I'll go over all of this momentarily. I'll go back and I'll review it with you. Okay, but look, See this? Look how it locks down, right? I release it with this foot pedal. Okay, so I route this, right? And then I can come over here and look, flip it over while my router is still running. Okay, and I can think about all the time you take right now clamping and unclamping a workpiece just to do a simple bullnose on something. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I think I made my point on that. All right, I'm going to set this over here because I will come back to it later. Oh, and I don't know if you know this, but I've done this quite a bit, and when people come in and have an MFT, do you know you can actually use this groove right here to clamp vertically? I think you probably know that, all right? But I just wanted to point that out. We have quite a few clamps in the Festool system. All right, so let's talk about this. I'm going to turn this off so you can understand it. This is the SE1, okay? It comes with a pod, a foot pedal, okay, and a vacuum pump, okay? Now, I know I have a new mic, and I know I have a tendency to shout because this does make a little bit of noise, but it's only 55 decibels, okay? So it's a very quiet vacuum pump. Okay, on the pod, right here. See this right here? This is what people miss on this. This is a gasket, okay? To engage the gasket, you'll hear it in a few minutes. Okay, I'm releasing some of the pull down. But as I push it up, what happens is I could take this pod and put it on any non-porous surface, and it sucks right down to it. Okay, so if this MFT didn't have holes in it and it was a non-porous surface, I could lock that down and it would be stationary. Okay, now also, the pod here will spin. You can lock it in with this knob. This is to spin the pod. This is where you engage it. You'll see this is kind of built up, so it creates a seal around the piece I'm locking down. You'll also notice this lever. This actually tilts the pod, so you can work at all different angles without releasing it. Now, I want to point this out. This knob sometimes gets in, or this lever sometimes gets in the way. You'll notice that it's spring-loaded. I could pull it and get more bite on it or more reference, or if it gets in the way of a knob or something, I can move it out of the way. Okay? So, let me just put it in here. Now, this is a custom bracket I'll go over in a few minutes. Okay? And there's a little bit of history on this because this is like the 4th generation I've built. Okay? Now, I'm going to take the pod, I'm going to slip it into these rabbited pieces like this. Okay, I'm going to turn my pump on. It's a simple button on and off. You take your system like this, and you punch it right into here and lock it in. I'm starting to get a little bit of pull down, but nothing. So what I'm going to do is, you can hear this. Chris, come in here and up top here so you can see this. I'm going to take it. I'm going to push it in, and it actually locks right in. I'm just going to tilt it up to bring it up so you can actually see it pulling in. Okay? And see, I used a piece for this bracket. I used a piece of pre-finished maple plywood, okay, non-porous. And you can see where I can flip it right up. It's that simple. Okay, so say I got to route this piece. I just put it on there, and you see how it sucks down? Okay, now, the foot pedal is your release. Let's come in here and talk about this, Chris. See this right here? This is how I release the pressure here so this comes off. Now, people have come into the training and have seen this piece of wood that I created. I grabbed this out of my scrap bin, and you'll notice I labeled this for everybody. This is a 40-millimeter hole I drilled offset, and I screwed the foot pedal to this. And when people have come in, they've taken pictures of this, and the thing is when I'm working with a big piece, this foot pedal, I was always searching for it. Now I know exactly where it is. It's right here, and if I need to get it out of the way, it's right here and swivels right out. So that's just a hack that I did on this and modified it a little bit. There's actually an area where you can put a couple of screws in. It's a piece of wood with a 40-millimeter hole. Okay. So, what if I have to clamp with the vacuum clamp a piece of wood like this? Okay, see this? The gasket surrounds this, Okay, and I'm just rotating that lever like this. Who says sanding something like this isn't comfortable, right? But what if I have a small, say I'm doing some rail and style stock with my domino, okay, and building something. See how the gasket doesn't surround this piece? So if we come in here, we have this kit, all right, and you have these different profiles. Okay, they're the different pods. You have this one, this size, this size. I don't remember the sizes because I don't have to. I just customize the sizes like this. I go, yep, that one will work. What I want you to notice is this. You see the groove here? This is wicked important. See that? Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to release it here. And Chris, hopefully we can come in here. See this right here? This is a little pin that I'm pulling out. That pin fits in the groove, and you'll see how this pops out. Okay? So, hopefully I'm not moving too quick. I'm going to put this in here like this. I'm going to take this, and listen, I'm going to push it in. That pin has now gone into the groove. Okay, so I'll leave that right there if you need another close-up of that. So now, if I need to work this, check it out. See this? Look. I can work that at any angle I want, okay? And it just makes it so comfortable. The ergonomics of it are perfect. Okay, we also have this pod, okay, because, whoops, let me get this one out. Okay, look, I need to clamp this handrail. This ain't going to work here. It's not surrounded, but it works fantastic with this one. And I'm not going to go through all of them. You can get these separately. You don't have to get the kit, but the kit is worth it, I think. But check this out. And that locks right in like this. So there you have it. Okay? And say I got to sand this or use a spoke shave on it or something. It's perfect. And I can fair this or I can shape it, sand it, whatever. Okay? And if I have multiples of these, I just release this, grab another piece. It speeds up operations. So much so, you're always trying to find other things to use it for. Okay, before I move on to custom versions of these, let's talk about the bracket. When I first started, and I got to speak from a little bit of personal history on this. When I first started using this, I liked it, but for me, on all my benches at home, I've always built everything to my frame or my size. Okay, I love the MFT because this is the same height as my big bench, European bench at home for hand planing. Okay, but when I started to take the VAC SYS out, take a piece of melamine and put it up there, everything was up this high. Okay, and that for me when I'm routing is not comfortable. Okay, it's awkward. Okay, now we also have this. Come in here so you can see this. This is our plate. Okay, that you see the four holes here. This will let you mount the VAC SYS, and I'm going to pull this so you can see it. Okay, with these four holes here. It comes with the mounting hardware. But the situation, once again, these come up underneath the holes and lock it down. It's still up here. So, I'm going to go back to Germany, and I'm there working and being trained on the Contoro, and I see a trainer over there, and he's got a piece of plywood that this is mounted to, and it's the height just like you see it here. And I was just like, boom. I came back and I said, man, can I build that? And it was funny because in the Contoro book, which Derek put in our description, right, Derek? Okay. There's a plan for the piece of plywood. Okay. It's on page 68 of the Contoro flip book. Okay. But what this was version 1.0 for me. I had 3 VAC SYS in here, and it was perfect, but I had to mount it with 4 screws. I wasn't utilizing, look, the gasket. So then, going forward, somebody made one that had 2 pieces of wood tacked together to show that we had the gasket that stuck to it, and it was on a piece of solid surface. It was a little heavy for me. And the rabbited piece here, I was using it, but it was breaking away. So what I did is I created a piece of walnut. I grabbed a couple of pieces of scrap walnut that were 45 millimeters and 65 millimeters long. Okay, and what I did is I ran a stick and a rebate that is 30 millimeters in depth. That's the key measurement. I'm going to pull it out so you can see it. That measurement as I pull this out, you'll see I labeled it 30 millimeters. The height is 30 millimeters here. Okay, the depth of the rabbit really doesn't matter. You just don't want to make it to interfere with anything. So I ran that. I cut it in 3. And I have a drop here in case it releases. It drops in there and doesn't fall out. I've seen people, my buddy Jason just has a piece of wood that it drops down into or down onto. Okay, so that's his modification on it. I grabbed, and the evolution of the hardware, okay, it's simple. I put the brackets on, I tacked them in, I drilled them in so they hold to the pre-finish. And then the knobs are easy. I started out with this. Let me show you. I started out with this. I had this jig hardware my dad gave me years ago. It was just sitting around in my mechanic's chest. So I grabbed some long bolts, anything that fits in there, okay, from the behind. Okay, I'll go over that in a minute, okay, and then I went to T-nuts. See that? And the T fits in there, whatever fits in there and locks in. So now I use these, okay? You know what this looks like to me? It looks like a toilet bowl holder down or bolt, a flange nut, right? But see this? This is a 5/16 18 bolt. And what I did is I drilled it through, okay? I put a washer and a couple of nice comfortable knobs. I even have small knobs here that have 5/16. Now, the one other thing you need to remember, if of course you're going to put on your MFT, is come in here, Chris, so you can see this. See this little tab right here? I used to just stick a 2 millimeter shim stock in there, 2 millimeter edge banding, okay? But what I do now is I epoxy right on a 2 millimeter offset, and that gives me the offset when I lock it to, I always lock it off one of the edges here, or corner brackets, so it locks in really stout. Okay, but it's really simple. It's a piece of plywood with some rabbited pieces and some knobs with T-nuts or flange nuts, whatever you want to call them. The key is you can modify this to, I've seen my buddy Garrett made one where he has multiple positions on it, okay? Because sometimes he wants it flush with the table, the pod, sometimes he doesn't. Maybe he wants it a little higher. There's all kinds of modifications. But the basic plan is on page 68, and we have it in our description on YouTube. Okay, it's in the Contoro flip book. Hopefully that came through okay, because everybody asked me about the bracket, and everybody asks me about the foot pedal holder. Okay, they're pretty simple. All right, I'm going to put that back in, because I'm going to talk about something that I love talking about, because I've tried to incorporate vacuum clamping in a lot of things in my life. Okay, is you know the 3 pods that we have. Okay, and I haven't talked too much about this. I make custom templates. Okay, hear me out on this. I'm gonna go right over here. And this is a charcuterie board we made for a local pub and brew house. And I made these templates that I would take and do this. Look, take this, and this is a different size. I would take it on my piece of wood, trace it out, cut it close with a Carvex, okay, and then do this. Look, and put double stick tape on here. Put it on here like this, okay, just like this, for different sizes, and we would route with on the router table with a bottom bearing, okay, a pattern cutter. So what the template is your quick trace, right? Okay, but it's also what the bearing of your router bit follows. Okay, so we need to make a bunch of charcuterie boards like this, okay, for Christmas time. Here's my template. Okay, look, here's my template, right? I use this to trace around, okay? And instead of using double stick tape, I buy this stuff. I go to any home center, okay, and I buy this weather stripping. Sometimes the profile looks like this. You capturing that, Derek? Okay, there's another one that I get. It's right over here. This is a different profile right here, okay? It's weather stripping, but I think it's called EPDM weather stripping. It's non-porous. This you don't even have to get exact on. What I did with my template, my master template, is I drilled a hole 8 millimeters. Okay, see that? Got that, Chris? Okay, and then what I did is I just cut this stuff, and look, it's rough, but what you need to do is you need to make sure it's up against there, so when this presses down, it makes a custom gasket. So I'm just going to peel this off like this. I'm going to take it, and look, it's no rhyme or reason. You can readjust this if you want, but I'm going to push it right in like this and push it down. So I'm going to remove this pod, take it out, and I'm going to grab this one, okay, because this fits our template a little bit better. I'm going to put in. So now, instead of, I'll do this, I'll trace it out rough. I'll cut close to the line with my Carvex, but then I'll take it like this, look, and put it right on here like this. And look how snazzy that is. Look how that locks right down on there, okay? And I'll follow that with my router. Pretty snazzy. So now my vacuum pod or my template becomes my custom vacuum pod that I can follow with a router bit in my 1400 just like this. See? And now that'll follow my template underneath, and I can knock it out wicked quick. Okay, so you remember when we started clamping and unclamping over here, okay, on this butcher block cutting board? I need to build a bunch of these, okay, for Christmas. Okay, look, there's my custom template that I made. See that? Okay, I traced it out on this piece of oak. I think it's oak. And I'm going to take it and line it up. Let me change my pod out. It's wicked quick to change the pods. Flip it around. Put it in. Make sure it's in there. Lock it in. Okay, and I'm going to do a quick line up right here. I'm going to bring it in. Do it just like this. And I'm going to bring it down. Oh, daggone it, Brian. It's the other way, because that's where my bearing's going to hit. And what happens is the air is being pulled. The air is being pulled through this hole, and this becomes my seal now. This white part is this part right here on the gasket. Follow? I'm just creating custom gaskets. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to route part of this so you can see it's got great holding power. And then I can show you something else that I think's unbelievable. All right. Always remember this. When you're using a router, always make sure before you put a plug-it cord on, make sure you cycle it off so you don't plug it in and it turns on. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so what's nice about this, I'm actually going to turn this off. I know you can probably hear me, but I want to do this because I want to describe what I'm doing. See how I don't really have to do anything? I could have gone around the whole thing, but I want to get a good view of this because I want you guys to see this. This really saves so much time. And you see how I'm just going right around there and it's following the template? And I wish you guys could see how perfect that came out to the template. So I'm going to take it one step further because this is really fun. Okay, now every once in a while you may get tear out depending on the grain. So you got to sand that on this edge, right? But you want to keep that edge crisp. So I need to show you this because this is one of my favorite new tools we got. This is our, and I know it's an accessory, but I want to sand this edge because I did it earlier this week on this larger piece because I had a lot of routing marks on there. And this new edge sander attachment is sweet. So I'm just going to take that, get it in there. I've already preset this at 90. The settings right here at 90. Yes, we're going to do a Festool live on this, but let me just swing this around, get it like this. And it doesn't matter what you're doing, okay, because this is a super versatile clamp. And and as I come around, I don't know if you can see this, I'm looking right down in here, and that gives me, and I know we've called the Conturo the perfect edge, but I'm going to tell you something. This new edge sanding attachment with the ETS 125 and the ETS 125 EC, okay, the cordless, this does give the perfect edge on there. So I wanted to point that out to you. And I'm looking at my outline. We've done, okay, yep, we've covered all of that. Oh my goodness, look at all the people who are watching. Okay, I'm going to call everybody out. Woo! Who do we, okay, we have Australia. We have North Carolina ×2. We have the UK. We have Russia. We have the Netherlands. We have Virginia. Woo-hoo! And that weird country called West Virginia. Just kidding. We have Southern Cal. We have Lebanon, Indiana. Alma, is that you? From Pink Soul Studios. Arizona, Finland, Ohio, Delaware, Kentucky, Malta. You are always there, Malta. Thank you. Kuwait. Oh, Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, we have Cody Davis did a first purchase on a TS55. Thank you. We have Jared Turner. Oh, Jared, I told you to watch because you're going to be building the charcuterie board this weekend. I gave you one of my templates. You're awesome, dude. You're one of our rock stars in repair. Martin, you're there in Canada. Martin Chavaria, I love your brother. And, of course, Gary Jenkins. Miss you, Gary. You're my main man over in Ohio. I'm probably Brent got all the questions. Do you have any? Who else do we have? We have Maryland. I love it. Hey, I think that's one of our favorite parts here on Festool Live, seeing where everybody's tuning in from. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd have anybody from Kuwait and Malta and everybody. Canada, I knew, but hey, everybody, we love you. Simple. No questions? Chris, you timed this out just about perfect. You said be right in there. Oh, hey, maybe we should pan over. What are we seeing next week? Well, God willing, you'll see that we've already started to build this. I'm going to go over the Planex, or we are, in a Planex EZ, and I'm getting everything ready for some popcorn removal, plus to go through the differences of the Planex and the Planex EZ. We are really stoked about this. We've been building this set for quite some time, getting it ready. I know it sounds funny that we've been doing it for a long time, but not really. It's just that we want to get it right for this room so you guys can actually see that, the lighting and everything. Boy, are we excited about this next week. And boy, we got a lot of stuff planned, don't we, guys, for the following weeks. So hang in there. Oh, we have people from the Asian YouTube? What? Oh, I thought that's what that said. Again. Minnie says again. Okay, everybody, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really dig it. This is your time to learn from trainers here in North America, and we really appreciate your time. Don't forget, you can also catch us on YouTube all the time, Festool USA, and also our Facebook page. So, thank you very much. There's another one, episode 20. We really love you guys. Hang in there. Stay safe, please. We're all going to get through this. Talk to you next week at noon, Friday. Festool Live, baby. Woohoo!